Most of the cars out for the Formula One event and lining up on the grid now. Quite a lot of low graders with us this afternoon, and whilst we're waiting to see if there are any more before the pit gate goes shut, remember we're on the 2/3 system. Top highest point scorers from the 3 Formula One qualifying events will go forward. That's the first 30 to the final. So the 200 is the car that in fact has got that inside pole position, and he's going to lead them away. That's Owen Brown. We've got Peter McCrudden in car number 434. He comes from Prize Norton in Oxfordshire. We've got just tucked down Clive Shepherd, I think, in car number 257, driving the Tony Smith car, and Stuart Silman in car number 496 from Churchill. Banbury Way, if memory serves me correctly, completing the foursome at the front of the pack. Then a little bit further down, 315, Eric Graveling from Peterborough. Alan Jackson in car number 42. Nice to see him with us this afternoon. Then we've got Phil Bignell, Hinckley-based, car number 7, and car number 6, Phil Wheelton from Broughton Astley in Leicestershire. Car number 360 is Paul Frost, and number 445, Roger Green, just moving in at the front of the pack there. Down the line, and quite a surprise was that when we had a little message from John Kaiser just earlier on in the weekend to say in the room, he said, yes, we're delighted to see you, and there he is from Saffron Walden in Essex, number 17, John Kaiser. 215, Jeff Nichols, he's from Melton Mowbray. And then just move right down to the stars at the back of the pack. We'll have the gate together, gentlemen, please. We'll have the gate together. Then we've got 309, Jayne Bean, first of the stars. 422, Nigel Whorton. 73, Rob Cowley. 86, David Toulson. And then car number 446 at the back there, along with car number 428. That's Paul Baker, actually, in 428, and not the fellow at the front there, which is 257. That's Clive Shepherd. So here we are, 1 or 2 newcomers. Richard Mason just emerging there in car number 202. Right, Warren Hunter then from Preston joins the grid. So does John Lund in 53, Peter Falding in number 33. Then we'll have the gate together now and get heat 1 underway. Elwell amongst the blues, number 501, 152, Andy Maynard. Okay, Mr. Starner. The flag goes down and we're underway with 24 cars on the grid for the first event for the Formula One stock cars this afternoon, and there's trouble down there. Paul Frost in car number 360 getting himself into trouble down there. 434 already in the fence, and trouble for Peter Falding in 33 and Rob Cowley in number 73. Both of them get restarted. Oh, Richard Mason and Warren Hunter struggling down there on turns 1 and 2, but the rest of them going. Graveling including in 3.15. Alan Jackson in 42 looking to move up a place, which he does there. Moves past to number 3.15. We've got a problem there with Rob Cowley, who pulls off right opposite race control in car number 73. 4.96 then, Stuart Silman going by. Elwell making ground rapidly in 5.01. He has to go there at Mason, pushes Mason out of the way in 2.13. Des Chandler in 2.13. Slides past Mason in 2.02 as well. And so it's Chandler making a bit of ground there already. The pressure's coming on a little bit up front as these cars circulate. Phil Bicknell goes in car number 7. Silman in 4.96, moving the number 428 car out of the way on that far side. Elwell still making rapid progress throughout in car number 5.01. 4.45 and 2.13s there, number 4.22. And then Jayne Bean in car number 3.09. 86, David Toulson goes down through on the inside past Mason again. John Lund is coming through in number 53. We've got wallop, that's got to happen, and it did over on the far side, and indeed things are changing. Let's see what happens now as they go walloping through. And it's Elwell in 5.01 who actually leads. He's pulling away from Whorton in that second place in 4.22, Chandler third in 2.13, Bean fourth in 3.09. Then comes David Toulson in 86, John Lund in 53. All of them motoring around here quite rapidly as they pick it up a little bit again down that far side, 5.01. Lawn, so we're into the second half. 53, John Lund going around there. Engine sounding nice. Falding doing his best to make up a bit of ground in number 33. Off goes Owen Brown in car number 200. It's still Elwell in 5.01 from Whorton in 4.22. Then Chandler in 2.13. Bean in 3.09. 86, David Toulson. 53, John Lund. Interesting to see if Elwell will be held back at all in number 5.01 from 4.22. And that's Warren Hunter there, losing it and sliding straight out into the Arco. And it's 5 next time, Mr. Starter. So with 5 laps to go next time, Elwell in 5.01 from Whorton, and it looks as if there's a lot of smoke coming from that number 17 car of John Kaiser. Might well have a problem there. We shall have to wait and see. 4.22, Nigel Whorton. Will he get close enough to make a real challenge on Elwell before that checkered flag goes down? The 4-lap board goes out. It's still Elwell in 5.01 from Whorton in 4.22, and it looks as if Whorton might be getting just a little bit closer. Keep your eyes on those two as they rattle around here. Off goes Warren Hunter on the far side in car number 20, but it's still Elwell in 5.01 from 4.22. Nigel Whorton in that second place. Third place man dropping back a little bit, but it looks as if it's still Des Chandler in 2.13, although those could change. No, it isn't. It's Jayne Bean in 3.09, but Chandler's there in 4th place in 2.13. And the leader getting bumped just a little bit there. The 2-lap board goes out. Whorton still rattling around here pretty quickly and doing his best to get into contention, but time is running out and he's not likely to do so now, so he'll have to be content with the second place. 5.01 and 4.22 into the last lap they go as the board goes out. Des Chandler's departed by the look of it in 2.13. Over on the far side it looks like an Elwell victory in 5.01 from Whorton in 4.22. Let's see if that's the case as they go down the back straight for the last time into 3 and 4, and once again into the home straightaway. 5.01 and 4.22, and down goes the checkered. Elwell takes it in 5.01 from 4.22 in that second place. The rest of them still coming through, including Jayne Bean, David Toulson and John Lund, and then Peter Falding in number 33. One or two of the back markers still coming through. Okay, Mr. Starter, reds please. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Elwell down there, the driver of car number 5.01, receives his race winner's award, and he'll be on the back of the pace car in a moment. Results being carefully checked. So away goes the winner of Event 1, Race 1 on the programme for the Formula 1 stock cars, ladies and gentlemen, from Rugeley in Staffordshire, 5.01, Chris Elwell. Confirmed results then for you of that event. Chris Elwell first across the line, driving number 501. Second place, car number 422, Nigel Whorton, and third at 309, Jayne Bean. Fourth was 86, David Toulson, and fifth, 53, John Lund. Sixth was 33, Peter Falding, and seventh, 42, Alan Jackson. Eighth place went to 445, Roger Green. Ninth was 496, Stuart Silman. And in 10th place was number 6, Peter Hayes, with number 115. He comes from Castle Donington, does Peter. Phil Rogers, car number 116, from Studley in Warwickshire. Howard Davies, number 327, winning races again last week was at Long Eaton, was Howard. He comes from Cheltenham, and that's a super new outfit of Graham France in car number 216. Delighted to see Graham. He was another late entry, gave us a ring, I think it was on Friday, and said, well, the new car's ready, we'd like to come down and give it a shot. And it's got to be, what, a couple of years, we reckon, since we saw Graham down here in that number 216 car. Next to him is number 507. Shortly be driving another car, all being well. That's Neil Smith from Bedford in number 507, got one of the ex-Rob Moss outfits, I think. Behind him again is car number 360, it's Paul Frost, and then at the side of Paul is 315, Eric Graveling. We move down the line to the Blues, 22, Paul Harrison, the first one of them. 22, William Yarrow, of course, there. Yep, sorry. Well, so much going on in the background here. We sorted out. 392 is there as well, along with 441 John Lawn, 371 Shane Dorrell, and 391 Andy Smith. Then we have 203 Dan Clarke and number 2 Paul Harrison, 73 Rob Cowley, and 272 Andy Hodgson. Then number 75 and 446 at the back there. The gate is together. Okay, Mr. Starter, get them wound up and let's get moving. Okay, they go this time again with 21 cars on the grid, and away they go with Peter McCartney in 434 leading them away, and Graham France rejoins after thinking that he wasn't going to in car number 216. Of course, that's a new car. Oh, Brown goes 445. No help from anybody. Roger Green there. So McCartney coming through in 434. Neil Long in 79. Hey, uppy, and into the fence they go there. That was an up and over one there. Looked a little bit dodgy for a moment or two. Car number 360 was the man involved there, Paul Frost. We get an indication the drivers are all okay, but that's a bit of a dodgy position to be in. Look at him go down that back straight. Dan Clarke in 203. Oh, and Andy Hodgson in 272, tangling there and bouncing high as they come around that corner. There's not a lot of room there with those cars parked around there, and those two certainly found that out to their advantage or otherwise. Will Yarrow moving nicely in car number 22, as is Paul Harrison in car number 2. Both the drivers safely out there on turns 3 and 4, so at least from that point of view, the steward of the meeting suddenly finds that he has less to worry about. Car number 257, the driver climbing out down here on the home straightaway. Howard Davies struggling on the back straight. And that's Peter Knight in 392, who goes out on the far side. So already we've got several casualties, with Eric Graveling still motoring in 315 and having a little go at the back end there. And a little bit further up, we've got Hodgson in 272 and Dan Clarke in 203, and now Rob Cowley in 73. Boy, and they're all going in down on that bottom turn. Will Yarrow's gone in number 22, so is Phil Rogers in 116. Bonnet comes flying up on the 22 car, and at least both of those are still mobile by the look of it, so no serious problems there. Neil Smith has pulled off in 507, so the field getting somewhat depleted at this stage. Number 2, the lead car then from 203, Dan Clarke in second place. Rob Cowley moved up into third position in car number 73. Howard Davies has gone in 327. So it's Dan Clarke in 203 coming into the home straight away now in the lead in this second event for the Formula 2 stock cars from 73. Rob Cowley and 272, Andy Hodgson. And then, would I be right in thinking that 391 is in that fourth place in the Peter Falding car, of course. That's the halfway, Mr. Starter. So Andy Smith in 391, thumping round here very quickly indeed. Moving up on Hodgson in 272, in fact. But the leader is Dan Clarke in 203. From 73, Rob Cowley in that second place. Then Andy Hodgson in 272 from 391, Andy Smith. And how long is it before somebody says Stuart Smith? Probably not too long at all. 391, Andy Smith in that number as they move rapidly around the oval. Number 2 and 203 with 5 next time. 2 and a 203, 5 next time. Then 73. There's Paul Harrison in car number 2 from 203. Oops, and it looks as if Hudson's in trouble. Yes, he is indeed. Clipped a car, and that's probably put him out of contention as far as this one's concerned. Into the home straight and around turns 1 and 2 goes Paul Harrison, the leader. Flat rear tyre for Hodgson in 272. So he's not going to score in this outing. Paul in the lead in car number 2. From 203 and 73, 1, 2, 3. Evenly spaced around the raceway. Harrison diving through there, past the back markers, down the back straightaway. Time beginning to run out for anybody to make an impression on the lead car. Harrison certainly putting his authority all over this one, drives nicely past back marker Neil Smith in 507, who has suddenly re-emerged from his parked up position over there on the back straight to rejoin the racing. And Harrison in car number 2 from 203 and 73. So the 2 lap boards there. And the last lap board now being prepared. Harrison the leader in car number 2. There's Harrison from 203, 73 and 391. Checkered flag time. There's Harrison, first over in car number 2 from second place. It's 203. And then 73 and 391. And certainly Andy Smith looking very much at home in that car there. Very much at home indeed. If you would. Right, Paul Harrison there with the checkered flag and the trophy. He'll be on the back of the pace car as usual in a moment or two. And whilst things are happening out there, the Formula 2 is emerging for their first outing of the afternoon. There's a lot of them here this afternoon, despite the fact that we've got a clashing meeting, which is good to know. And indeed, we had a telephone call from people who were travelling up from Devon. They were leaving home around 9:30 this morning, so we do hope that that party's here and that you'll enjoy your afternoon with us. So there we go, Paul Harrison, ladies and gentlemen, on the back of the pace car. We've got actually 3 lap scorers working up here today, and well, things happen, which is why halfway through the race we were telling you all that Dan Clarke was in the lead, because of course he wasn't. It had been Paul Harrison for some time, but there you are, with 3 of them up here, it was right in the end. And do remember that the Formula 2 events this afternoon are sponsored by the Notts and Derby Supporters Club, whose representatives are here. In borrowed cars, there's quite a few of them out there, we're glad to say. And indeed, the first one through on the number 79 car is Keith Toulson. Keith, of course, who was responsible for a lot of programme features, and indeed still writes in the Three Counties magazine, or certainly was until recently, of which the latest copy is available. Not had a chance to read it yet, but whoever dropped it up in race control, many thanks. On the 315 car, who have we got in there? Okay, there we are then, number 79, giving us a wave. Keith Thompson, yep, number 79. 315, Alan Purnell. He's been with us before, I know. Harry Embley, number 6. He doesn't look a day older. He's driving the Phil Wheelton car. Well, as we said, we really are getting the old ones out this afternoon. 507, Dick Smith from Bedford. Mind you, Neil was refusing to let him race about a week ago, so obviously a little bit of pressure's been put on there. Brian Thorne, what a pleasure to see Brian. Hello, Brian, nice to see you with us. 116, he's driving. Johnny Pratt there in number 115. Another regular face, of course. George Ansell on the number 53 card. Nice to see George there. Ray Leigh, number 73. Good afternoon, Ray. Well, he made a promise that he'd be with us this afternoon, and there he is. He's made it. George Hamstead, the car number 422. A little interesting story which we'll keep to ourselves as to the way George has managed to get hold of that car this afternoon. Roger Hollingshead, number 371. There's another guy who hasn't changed much. Talking about old boys, good to see old Lionel Anderson down there again. And we have a call, please, for Willie Harrison to race control, please. Well, in the 391 car, Glyn Percy, there he is. Getting a nice round of applause. Several people who remember Glyn by the look of it, and he's in the 391 car. Jack Wilson, he's on the number 20 car there, another familiar face, always kept in touch, of course. And Brian Bennett, car number 152. So there's our lineup of veterans, all in some good cars out there. It's certainly interesting to see that, John Lund's motor out there, and Rob Cowley's number 73, and the Andy Smith motor, number 391. Right, so there's one more car to emerge from the pits, gentlemen. One more car from the pits. And indeed, if it's 392, that'll be Pete Shepherd. And it's Glyn Percy, remember, who's the defending champion. He's hoping to make it a hat-trick this afternoon. Right, the 392 car of Pete Shepherd then eventually emerges, so we've got all the veterans out there that we can race. So that's not too bad at all, actually, in the circumstances. Pete Shepherd, there he is on the 392 car. And it was Rob Speak first in 218. Second, 167 Bill Batten. Third, 701 John Thompson. Fourth, 686 Gary Hooper. Fifth, 514 John White. Sixth was car number 75 Glenn Gregory. Seventh was number 212. Eighth place went to number 561 Richard Wilkes. Ninth was 751 Brian Smith, and 10th 23 Kev Reed. Okay, so the 1991 BriSCA Johnny Bryce Memorial Trophy gets underway with starter Al Henderson, and that brings back a few memories. And it's in fact the 10th running, is it? That's great news. Some good motors out there, there's no doubt about that. Right, so Glyn Percy, the defending champion in car number 391. In the World Champions car, George Ansell, number 53. remember then, all the names from the past down there, and there's certainly one or two well-known ones amongst them. Just as nimble as ever. Started Al Henderson diving over the fence there. Yeah, it's good to see him back up there. Right, the green flag goes down and the veterans event gets underway. Some moving. That looks as if that's the Percy outfit that's gone down there. Fires it up, does Glenn Percy, hoping to get back into the action. We'll pull the car back, so that could be interesting. Brakes going on down there. That was Brian Bennett in the 152 car. Oops, and that's pulled the axle right back on that one, so... Just sweating a little bit there on the top line. We're just keeping an eye on things down there. Well, okay, it's 73. At the moment, I think that's leading the pack. Leigh in number 73. He's well away. Shepherd's going quite well, I think, in number 392. So is George in number 53. Yes, and so is George Hamstead in 422. He's certainly settling down nicely in that car. Oops. And the number 20 car of Jack Wilson just tests the gate down here. And we'll have the black owl, please, for number 20. So the bumper's bouncing in a little bit there, and the number 20 car is moved off the track. That's Jack Wilson in car number 20. That's the halfway owl, please. So your leader is number 73 at the moment. That's Leigh down there. From 392, Pete Shepherd in second place. George Ansell third at the moment in number 53. Then George Hamstead in 422. Oh, it's 73. There he goes. Sweeps past one and two of the back markers. 5 next time, Al, please. Notice that, ladies and gentlemen. He didn't even need telling, did Ali? He picked it up there straight away. Car number 73 then, that's the one out in the lead. Leigh. From Pete Shepherd in 392. And all credit to George Hamstead in 422 because he's driving that car well. And a typical Ansell manoeuvre around that turn then. Interesting to see. Just the same old George, sliding it through, fighting the wheel, bringing it round beautifully. The style is there, it hasn't altered a bit. So, it's the Rob Cowley car driven by Leigh, which is out in front in number 73. Pete Shepherd getting a bit closer in 392. George Ansell third in number 53. George Hamstead fourth in 422. 2-lap board going out. Now this could be interesting. A 115 broadside across the track, but it's getting close here. Look, Shepherd is moving up on the number 73 car of Leigh. Carefully. The leader gets bulked there. Are we going to get a change? It's going to be close by the look of it. Oh, look at this. Ansell's coming up as well. Now then, we're on the last lap, remember, and Ansell's going to go through. He is indeed. It has indeed beautifully through. And it looks as if it's going to be George. He's going to take the checkered flag. There we're right. Yep. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, do you remember a similar incident about six or 7 days ago? Same car, third place on the last lap, and then crossing the line in first place. Well, it's happened again today. Okay, so the Reds are out.
Well done, George.
Will you do the talking? I'm too old and knackered.
I think you came from nowhere a bit there, didn't you?
Yeah. We was watching what was going on, but running out of steam.
So when was it since you last raced, George? Now, mid-70s was it? I think or early 70s was it? Yeah. Right, yeah.
Now you're supposed to talk after
Go on, tell them down.
But you enjoyed it,
What a good driver they used to be, and they still are.
Yeah. I can still shout the buggers.
He ain't lost none of his touch. He was a bloody good tarmac driver, and he still is now. And if he were racing now, he'd
still give him a run.
Today.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Good driver.
Congratulations,
Thank
George.
you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Did
Willie.
a good job of that.
Yeah.
Good mate.
Coming round, we see it like that. Oh, we go on here.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Well done, George. Congratulations. George Ansell accompanied by Willie Harrison, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, our thanks to the...
Right, so we're about to move away. When you're ready, Mr. Starter. Yes, please. And he'll be led off by car number 200. Owen Brown. And on the outside, car number 445. Roger Green in 445. Neil Long in number 79, and Stuart Silman in 496. Yellows, Phil Bignell, number 7, number 42, Alan Jackson, 216, Graham France, 116, Phil Rogers, 507, Neil Smith, and 327, Howard Davies. The A-graders coming into view now, and the first of them, 213, Des Chandler. 22, Will Yarrow, 202, Richard Mason, and 215, Jeff Nichols. One or two more coming through. 392, Peter Knight, 152, Andy Maynard. Then the Stars, 309, Jayne Bean and number 2, Paul Harrison. Amongst the Blues, 391, Andy Smith. Back to the Stars. As they move round. Go through them again, 309, Jayne Bean, 272. Andy Hodson. Number 2, Paul Harrison. 86, David Toulson. 422, Nigel Whorton. 203, Dan Clarke. 53, John Lund. And 33, Peter Falding. And 75 at the back, white top novice driver from Harrow near Grimley, Worcester, Dave Cottrell. "26 cars on the grid." They're away. 26 cars on the grid. Bignell struggling a little bit in car number 7. And the Starmen flying down the home straight away, bunching up as they go into that corner. Already beginning to sort themselves out down the back straight. Richard Mason in car number 202 and 215. Jeff Nichols just behind him. Then comes 152, 272 and number 2. The leader at the moment is number 445, Roger Green. From 496, Stuart Silman, Owen Brown in car number 200 being pushed down that straight. Oh, he's going to go in there hard, and indeed he does. That holds Hodson back as well in 272, just checking that that driver is all okay, and the indications are that he is. We get the thumbs up from the marshal down there on the green. 445 then, still in the lead. Whips, and round goes Neil Smith in 507, within his own length down here on the home straightaway without any problems to anyone else. The Starmen bustling the way through from the back of the pack. Graham Francis' car settling down nicely with number 216, just looking to see that situation. number 200 being helped out of his car down there to the safe side of the fence, so at least he's all okay, and that's really what matters. Oh, and John Lund has gone in car number 53, helped in there by Mason, by the look of it, in car number 202. John Lund backing off down there to see what happens, and through he comes. He could well have a flat rear tyre by the look of it, I think. We'll just have to keep an eye on that to see if that's the case. No, maybe it isn't. It certainly looked it from where we were, so that's no doubt about that. However, no need to take any action as far as that's concerned at the moment. So, are we going to get a change? It looks as if we are. 75 is the car. Dave Gottrell has just gone into the fence again down there on the bottom bend, and it's 2-1-3. Des Chandler, who's taken over from 4:45. Roger Green in second place. Paul Harrison third in car number 2. Andy Hodgson fourth in 2:72. Peter Falding fifth in 33 and 6 at 4:22. Nigel Whorton. That's how they are as they scream round here at a tremendous rate. 2-1-3 then the lead car. Harrison, though, looks as if he could well be shortening the distance between first and second places as Chandler leads. 2-1-3, comes out of turn 4 into the home straightaway. Falding putting his bumper in there. Whorton having a go, and we're at the halfway. So into the second half we go. Watch Whorton and Falding, because they're having a little battle there a little bit further down. Whorton on the inside, Falding doing his best to hold him off as they go down that far side. It's still Chandler in 2-1-3, but Harrison's moving up on Chandler in car number 2. Then this gap till you come to Andy Hodgson in car number 2:72. 4:22 Nigel Whorton, and 33 Peter Falding still having a go. The bumper going on that side there. Interesting to see what's going to happen as they shoot down there, and Falding gets the edge on the underside. David Toulson coming into the frame as well in car number 386 with Jayne Bean just behind in 309. It's 5 next time, Mr. Snyder. And Harrison has taken over in car number 2. Paul Harrison in car number 2 has taken over as Andy Smith pulls off in car number 391 with a flat front tyre. Number 2, Paul Harrison leads. 2-1-3, Des Chandler in second place. Third is 2:72, Andy Hodgson. Then a little bit of a gap till he come to Falding in 33, who's in fourth place, followed by Whorton in 4:22, Toulson in car number 86, Jayne Bean in 3:09, and 2:03, Dan Clarke. They're all spread around this raceway. It's still moving rapidly round. The pace is a hot one indeed, with Paul Harrison setting it in number 2. He's managing to draw away now from Chandler in 2-1-3, and it could be that before that checkered flag goes down, Chandler will find himself under real pressure from Andy Hodgson in 2:72 as Hodgson holds a tighter line, swings round, and could well be having a go at the back bumper there of the Chandler outfit. Both of them in fact going wide on that turn, but it's Chandler who goes too wide. Hodgson gets through in 2:72. Falding still charging about, and again Chandler's on the receiving end of some bumper work there as Falding goes through in car number 33. They're still spread around this raceway and moving quickly, but Harrison is out on his own in car number 2 from Hodgson in 2:72, Falding in 33, and just watch him go as Falding puts the bumper in on Hodgson there in 2:72, sends Hodgson into the wires, and Chandler goes as well in 2-1-3 as Falding moves up to second place, car number 33, and they're on the last lap. Car number 2 and 33, 4:22, Nigel Whorton in that third place from 86. It's checkered flag time. It's going to be Paul Harrison, and we've got a problem, Mr. Starter, so put the red straight out, please. So the reds have gone straight out because we have got a problem down there on that turn. Just get that sorted just as soon as we can. Des Chandler, in fact, in 2-1-3 down there. The trophy's been presented. The man with the checkered flag on the back of the pace car, Paul Harrison, the driver of car number 2. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, from everyone down here in front of race control, Paul Harrison, your winner of event 6, heat 3 for the Formula 1 stock cars. Full result for you. First, Paul Harrison, number 2. Second, 33, Peter Falding. Third, 4:22, Nigel Whorton. Fourth, 86, David Toulson. Fifth, 3:09, Jayne Bean. Sixth, 2:03, Dan Clarke. Seventh, 42, Alan Jackson. Eighth, 2:02, Richard Mason. Ninth, 53, John Lund. And 10th, 445, Roger Green. So, running with 24, 25 cars on the track, we're going to be led off by Dave Cottrell in number 75, from Stuart Silman in 496, Roger Green in 445, then Phil Wheelton in number 6, 507, Neil Smith, 116, Phil Rogers. 216, Graham France, 42, Alan Jackson. 215 is Jeff Nichols. 213, Des Chandler. 22, Will Yarrow. 152, Andy Maynard. 202, Richard Mason. 501, Chris Elwell. 391, Andy Smith. And 392, Peter Knight. Right, 203 then Dan Clarke, 73 Rob Cowley, 86 David Toulson, number 2 Paul Harrison, 422 Nigel Whorton, 309 Jayne Bean, 33 Peter Falding and 53 John Lund. OK, Mr. Starter, when you're ready. Right, so away they go, except Will Yarrow in number 22, able to find the car quick enough, but the rest of them are away, and it's Stuart Silman in 496 who leads the way down the back straight, drifts out a little bit wide, the car handling a bit piggishly around those turns, but nevertheless, as he went out wide, it was Phil Wheelton in car number 6 who dived through to take the lead for a moment. Graham France is up there in 216, right behind him Roger Green in 445, 123 down the back straight. Alan Jackson going well, getting a help round the corner by number 213 Des Chandler. Andy Maynard in trouble over on that far side. Still Phil Wheelton in the lead in car number 6, 216, 213. Alan Jackson in 42. Then we've got Chris Elwell in 501 who nudges the 42 car out of the way. Off goes Jeff Nichols right in front of race control in car number 215. 392 Peter Knight is high and dry on turns 1 and 2. Pressure's already coming on down there, and it looks as if Chandler's about to make his break for it in 213, which he does. So it's 213 first, 216 Graham France second, 501 Chris Elwell third. That has now changed because Elwell has moved up into second. Oh, and Chandler's hit the fence down there after clipping the Cottrell car, and that means that we're going to get yet another change, and it's Elwell who goes into lead in car number 501. Things are interesting and already beginning to liven up because these star men are blasting their way through pretty well, going a little bit wide, one or two of them on that turn. 203 Dan Clarke and 309 Jayne Bean thumping the way down that back straight. 33 Peter Falding is up there as well, but it's Elwell in the lead in 501 from Chandler in 213, then Whorton in 422, and again that has now changed. Into the fence goes Cottrell in car number 75. Wheelton goes wide in number 6. Down here Alan Jackson pulls off in 42, but it's getting interesting up front because Elwell leads in 501, but Whorton is flying in 422. Chandler's still there in third place in 213. France fourth in 216. Falding fifth in 33. Toulson sixth in 86, and that's how they are. The first 6 places as they roar through. But just look at Nigel Whorton really winding it up and chasing Elwell all the way round. 501 and 422. Goes down that back straight. The bumpers are going in on that turn. Elwell is pushed out wide on 3 and 4. Stu Silman comes to a halt down here again on the home straight. Will Elwell now get close enough to walk to have a little nibble? And indeed he has done. Bumper to bumper down there as they roar down the back straight. Elwell having a go, but it's certainly Whorton in the lead in 4.22 from Elwell in 5.01. First and second places. They're pulling away from third. Chandler in 2.13, and that's the halfway, Mr. Starter. So that halfway stage, it is Whorton in 4.22, Elwell in 5.01, 2.13 Chandler, 33, Peter Falding, 86, David Toulson, 2.02 Richard Mason, number 2 Paul Harrison and Graham Ferguson, 2.16. Then world champion John Lund in car number 53. So remember, we're into the second half of this 20-lap grand final. Whorton the leader in 4.22 from Elwell in 5.01. Falding going nicely. He's about to move up into third place in 33. And that gives him still a chance to get a little bit close to the front before the checkered flag goes down. Chandler still in the frame though in 2.13, so is Toulson in 86. Mason in 2.02 gets a little nudge on turn 3 by the man who's dived beneath him to move up a place, Paul Harrison in number 2. But Mason is fighting back nicely, and they both went door handle to door handle down the home straightaway before Harrison got the edge and managed to draw away from the attentions of Mason. Not too far behind is John Lund in 53, and it's 5 next time, Mr. Starter. So with 5 laps to go, Nigel Whorton leads in 4.22, a very substantial lead at this stage in any race from Chris Elwell in second place in 5.01, and third Peter Falding in 33. 1.23 going through, 86 and 2.13 in fourth and fifth places, with sixth place now being held by Paul Harrison in number 2, seventh John Lund in 53, at eighth is 2.02 Richard Mason. Mason going well on the tarmac here this afternoon. But the cars well spread around here now. 4.22. Nigel Whorton certainly out in the lead and in an almost unstoppable position, one would think, at this stage in the proceedings. Powers his way again down the home straightaway. Puts Andy Smith behind him, having lapped him in car number 391. 5.01 Chris Elwell is still in that second place from Peter Falding in car number 33. There's 2 laps to go. The 2-lap board goes out, and they're still moving around here, and Falding doing his best to get a little bit closer to Elwell in the closing stages, and who knows, he might just do it as well. But there's only a lap to go now. Whorton in 4.22 there from Elwell in 5.01 and Falding in 33. The cars screaming around here quickly, but it looks as if that's how it's going to finish, with Nigel Whorton in 4.22 coming round and out of turn 4 for the last time in this grand final. Crosses the line first from Elwell in second place in 5.01, Falding third in 33, Toulson fourth in 86. Fifth man is Chandler in 2.13, and sixth is Paul Harrison in number 2. Seventh is 53 John Lund, and in eighth place could well be Richard Mason in car number 2.02. Those are only observations. Nothing in your programme, please. And the first 3 to the line, Mr. Starter. Okay, the Reds, please.
Quickly before the press.
What's the clutch? It's a bit fierce. Yeah, very fierce.
He'll learn one of the... Your team won't learn how to drive it by now.
Give him a push.
Okay, we started. We have the first 3 down there.
Congratulations, Nigel.
Right, thank you very
Seem
much.
to be having a few battles with Chris lately in finals on tarmac.
Yeah, it's a bit unfair really, him being a blue top front the blues, he gets away, so I have to keep my eye on him. But with the grading system today, he weren't at the front, so it was quite useful.
And what about next week, the long track?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We had a bit of a blow last week. It's another engine this week, new pair of heads and pistons and all the drama, but it seems to be performing well. It's a totally different concept of engine to what we've been running. We've usually been running on a lot of revs, but now we're going for torque. But I'm quite pleased with it. A few more adjustments and it's really good.
And you think next week you're in with a bit of a shout?
Yeah. Well, if you're in the race, you're in with a chance, then you.
Well, I think they want you to get a trophy. But anyway,
Yeah, thank you very much.
again, Nigel. Cheers.
Right.
Got that engine, Nigel.
Well done, Nigel. Right, the photographer's busy down there.
One of them.
Things going on properly last time. Super barbecue at night from 8 o'clock, and then they... So after we have seen the presentation down here, which we now have, I think on the lap of honour, we've got some presentation to be made on behalf of the Veterans Association. Ladies and gentlemen, would you give a nice round of applause, please, to the first three: Nigel Whorton, number 422, 501 Chris Elwell, and 33. Peter Falding.
Right, well, we're going to hold Nigel Whorton there, please. We've got Rob Cowley. I can see him coming across the track there. And we need John Lund, please, to the start-finish line. If someone can get a message to John, quickly, please, because there is a presentation to be made. And indeed, it's the presentation. And John Lund is on his way. Thank you, John. And what happens here is, in fact, that the Veterans Association ensure that those that, in fact, loan cars to the veterans get an opportunity of sharing in the spoils, which is really good. And indeed, the winning car of that little lot, scoring 47 points by its own driver and that of the veterans race, was Nigel Whorton. So he's going to get a crack. The second car, both from the owner and the guy who drove it in the Johnny Bryce Memorial Trophy, was John Lund's car with 46 points, and Rob Cowley's managed to get 45 points between them, both the borrower and the lender. So they all get a little bit of additional funding and trophies from the Veterans Association. And indeed, Paul, Willie and Maureen are down there to do the honours. Mr. and Mrs. Harrison, if we're going to be formal. Who? What? Well, they're down there. And the photographers are down there as well.